good evening and welcome to About the Valley. And tonight our guest is once again Joanne Powell.
Yep.
And Joanne is a candidate to work in that building.
Yeah, the big courthouse on Main Street.
Yeah, brand new, beautiful courthouse.
It is a beautiful courthouse.
Did a beautiful job.
Yeah.
And was definitely needed.
Yeah, the old building was charming, but
Yeah.
very old.
Now, is that house the other county offices as well?
This courthouse has
Yeah.
5 courthouses in it. So it has juvenile court, district court, housing court, probate court, superior court, and then the district attorney's downstairs.
Oh, okay.
So they're using it.
Right, and it's only the Register of Deeds is in another part
It's
of the...
down the street.
Yeah, down the street
Near
at,
the
well, what's that? Franklin, not Franklin Street.
Front Street?
Front Street.
Yeah, right
Front
near
Street.
City Hall.
Yeah, I've been there. That's nice.
It is. They did a good job of that, yeah.
Yes. So everybody else is here. Everybody used to be in that old building,
Mm-hmm.
which actually is a pretty nice...
It is a nice building. But
Yeah, and I don't know, have they ever found out what they're going to do with it?
somebody allegedly is going to build a retail and then like condo mix kind of
Oh,
facility.
but you know the part that was added on back in the 50s?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
got
that part's bad, huh?
just tear that down.
Yeah.
Just tear it down. It's not worth keeping.
It's funny how architecture or building in general was beautiful, you know, in the 1800s and the turn of the century, and then there was a period of those 50s to 70s, really.
Yeah.
You see a 70 building and you're like, ew.
It was an economical thing the way they did it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stand up to time. The front of the building is still in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And that back part, I mean, the windows didn't
Yeah,
work,
it's
the
everything,
doors
yeah.
didn't work.
So-
It just needs to be demolished.
Yep.
I went in there, had jury duty in that part. I said, oh my
Oh, yeah,
God,
and I
that,
did
that was a
too.
long time ago.
Yeah. Well, the jury room's really nice now. So.
Yes. Well, it's you walk in and you got that big open area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
it. It was a beautiful job and it took a long time though, like all politics in
It
Massachusetts.
does, yeah.
Well, how's your campaign going?
Good. I'm running for clerk of courts,
Yeah.
all of Worcester County, so I've been hitting the 60 cities and towns, or as many as I can get
God,
to.
this is a big county.
It's a big county. I've been back and forth back. In one day, I can go from Gardner and Leominster to Milford and Northbridge.
Yeah.
I can really hit it. And we've done all the parades. We're all past parades. We just had our last one. We had a Columbus Day one in Worcester, on Shrewsbury Street, and
Yes.
then we had Southborough had one. So
Would they have it on the actual
on the actual Monday. Southborough was on
Monday.
Monday, and Worcester's was on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we did that, and then
Yeah, that made it possible.
yeah, you can do. I did
Yeah.
do 2 one day on the 4th of July, but that's a lot of work.
I did the Columbus Day Parade on Shrewsbury Street way back when Peter Blute was still
Oh,
a
okay.
congressman.
Yeah,
I marched with Peter's group, who now is a radio talk show host on WCRN.
it's got a good show.
Yeah, he does really well at it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been, I mean, it's a trek to go all the way up north and then come down.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. Put a
and-
lot of miles on the car,
Yeah,
but that's okay.
and you live in Worcester County.
I do. I live in Charlton.
Yeah, so you're at one little corner there,
Yeah.
and then you go to the other.
Crisscrossing, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite the,
Yeah.
and you know the roads. All you got is I-190 up, heading up there.
Mhm.
That's the only major road. Other than that, you're going back roads to get up
Yeah, and it can get windy, twisty up there.
Yeah.
And 190's under construction, so you have
Yeah.
to deal with that some of the time
there. Oh,
too.
it's been going on in Worcester for years now. I don't know. You ever get it done? It's like you ever drive down 95 through New York.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Army 50 years ago. They were working in the same spots. You know,
They
I mean,
haven't-
did you ever get this done?
They're done. They don't have any job, I guess.
Right, so they have ongoing projects. But yeah, it's quite a trip, but it's beautiful country up through there and everything else.
Especially now with the foliage coming in. So
Yes.
it's good. It's good. And I love the whole county, but there's a lot of good people in those North County towns, and they're working hard, so.
Now, and you have to cover the entire county, not unlike I think the Register of Deeds,
Yep.
they actually have 2 offices.
Yeah, they have a North County Registry of Deeds which has 5 towns.
Yeah.
So Kate Campanelli's running for Registry of Deeds in Worcester County, and she'll have 55 towns, and then there's a 5-town
So those,
office.
yeah, she doesn't have to cover up there because
Yeah.
it's not
And so I have 60 towns. The DA
Yeah.
has 60 towns, and then Jen Casey, running for governor's council, has 65 towns. There's no.
Yeah, she overlaps the Worcester into the Middlessex
Yeah,
County.
exactly. Yeah, and I think she goes a little west too, into Hampden and Franklin.
Oh
County.
my God.
Yeah,
What
so
heck?
she's busy.
Yeah.
We all are, but everyone is. Like so many of the candidates, we see each other constantly, and we're all.
Yeah, you bounce. I see on Facebook together all the time.
Yeah, we are.
It's almost like running for a constitutional office in the state because
Yeah.
you're covering, what you probably say, a third of the state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we get, and even the statewide candidates are with us a lot of the time because we are such a big chunk
Yeah.
of the population.
Worcester County has got land-wise, it's probably the biggest one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
You get out west, Berkshire County, that's very sparse.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot.
Not as many people, but
No.
yeah.
But, yeah, so what are you finding people are asking you about? I mean, it's
The biggest thing is no one knows the jobs.
Yeah.
So I always
no,
have to.
I don't think anyone has ever, there was ever a competition. I know as a man that's run for the job, he has it.
Mhm.
But I don't think there's ever been a competitive race for that position.
Right, in over 50 years, there has been no opponent for this. So this is the first year you get a choice. So I'm hoping everyone chooses Joanne Powell.
Yeah.
But the clerk of courts is the manager of Superior Court. And Superior Court prosecutes the felonies, the first degree murders, any felony, I guess. And then they have the large civil suits, like anything over 25,000, so grand theft or a malpractice suit or labor laws, those kind of things.
Oh, wow.
So they're the big things going on.
Now, the clerk's job is to set these trials up.
Yep, to take the case from the beginning, from the day it happened, through arraignment, set up the hearing, set up any motions that need to go. Make sure the investigation is done and everything, all the evidence is taken care of. So the clerk has to make sure everything is run efficiently, so that when it gets to trial, when it gets in front of a judge, everything is exactly the way it should be. There's no missing holes. Everything's docketed into the computer, and there's no gaps for the judge to not be able to move forward on it.
Right, now, if you screw up in any way, if the clerk screws up in any way, you could actually lose the case, right?
Exactly, and you can't have that happening.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a victim of the crime, but if you ever did that to a poor family that had something horrible happen to them and then not misplace something or have something out of order or not correctly done and then there was mistrial, that will not happen when I'm clerk of courts.
Right,
I'll
yeah.
make sure.
Do you know if it's happened in the past?
I don't know any specific case. I know the evidence room could use a little work and could be a little more organized, and I know that technology's there to have evidence scanned and put right up on the screen during a trial. They have one courtroom. We have 4 trial courtrooms. I would make sure that it gets to every courtroom so that the evidence is cataloged properly and preserved properly.
Yeah, I know in the past there's been news reports about problems with evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Evidence goes missing,
Mm-hmm.
or the situation with the state police, with the state police lab.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have to let actual drug dealers out of jail.
Right, because they misplaced or misfiled or whatever.
Or wasn't correctly done.
Right, I know, that's
And you handle things with state police arrest as well, because,
Yeah, that would be in Superior Court.
yeah.
Right now, it's in Boston Superior Court, so hopefully. But anything can happen.
And you'd work with the DA's office then?
Yeah, a lot with the DA. The DA would decide which cases they decide to move forward, if they have enough evidence, and they can indict somebody. And they also have some flexibility in whether it goes to district court, because they can determine what charges they want to have, or Superior Court. So I would work hand in hand, and I have a good relationship with the current DA,
Yeah.
Joseph Early. I worked with him with his outreach program before I was at Probate and Family Court. And then I know he has a race, and I feel comfortable that I would be able to work with whoever wins that race.
Yeah, because what's amazing is every position on the ballot is being challenged.
Yes, for the first time in a long time, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing. This is
Yeah.
what democracy is all about, having choices. And
Right.
when you don't have a choice, it's kind of negates why you want to vote. Like it doesn't give you a good reason to get up on November 6th and actually vote.
Well,
This year you have that.
even if the incumbent wins, at least the people can send a message. If they don't get as many votes, if it comes close, they gotta get nervous.
Mhm.
And thought, hey, I gotta get my act together
Right.
because I gotta run again. It's a 6-year term.
6-year term,
Yeah, 6 years, I'm gonna have to run again.
right.
And people tend to remember.
Mhm.
So, but it's good though. I mean, I think you need to, and it's always good to get new people coming in because they look at, you start looking at things differently.
Yep. I have a lot of business experience besides working right now at probate and family court. So I would want to run the court as a business, run it efficiently, have people trained, have technology come, have it, you know, run the way you would run a regular business.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's being done that way right now. And my opponent's been there for 12 years, and I promised that I won't be the clerk for more than 2 terms. I think 12 years is
12
a good
years.
amount of time
Yeah.
for anyone to efficiently, you know, get what they want to do and get it done correctly.
Yeah, and then you let someone else come in and
Right.
whoever wants to run for the office.
Mhm.
The thing is that it's more than just running the office. You're operating a budget as well.
Yes, it's a pretty good sized budget.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And that's
so-
my expertise. I have an MBA, and that's what I've been doing at probate and family court is all the financials and making sure that everything's run, you know, correctly. And because you take in money, you have a lot of fees, so that money has to be processed
Yeah, a lot of
every
people don't
day.
realize the courts are supported by fees.
A lot of fees, and there'd be parole fee. You know, the parolees have to pay fees, and there's a lot of money going back and forth in all the courts, but especially in Superior
You
Court.
oversee the parole
Yeah,
department?
you'd see the parole department. Yeah, make
So
sure
all the
that
parole officers within Worcester County.
yeah, and so those parolees have to report into you. Yeah, have to report into the Superior Court, and whatever the conditions of their release was, someone has to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, make sure they're being checked, they're checking in,
Exactly.
make sure the parole officers are doing
Mhm.
their job. And some of them complain that they got more work than they can handle, so they tend, and we've had situations in the past where some parole officers have been reneged on their job because
Mhm.
they just said they're overworked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's up to you. Wait, I'm sorry if you got a lot of work, but,
Yeah, but again, if you give them the right tools to do their job,
yeah.
then you're supporting them, and I want to support the staff.
Especially today, we in the computer age, everything should be digital.
Right.
It makes it a lot quicker and a lot easier.
It's not like we have to invent these things. There's
Right.
the systems are already in place. Boston has a lot of the systems already. You just have to bring it to Worcester. I know we're only
Oh.
50 miles away, but
We're not as up to date as Boston.
no, they have others. We don't have a website, a legitimate website right now. And
See, now that's a-
e-filing, e-paying, all that is just,
That's an important factor. I know we saw the registry get onto
Mhm.
get a digital operation going, and it makes it easier. You don't have to go there
mhm,
to get certain records.
right.
And why not with Superior Court? I mean, I'm sure. And people, you say, well, when am I gonna? I don't break the law. I'm not gonna have
Mhm.
it. That doesn't mean you don't have to break the law to have to be involved with Superior Court. You could be a victim of a crime.
Right.
You could be involved in a lawsuit.
You could be a juror.
You could be a juror.
Right. Even to
Yeah.
have the system for jurors as if, you know, technology up to date, like, I should be able to text them and say, hey, we don't need you now, we do need you, or whatever it is, instead of little
You know,
phone system or a
That's
little
what the
piece of
federal
paper.
government does.
Exactly. Like,
I
it's
got,
not inventing anything.
I got federal jury duty,
Uh-huh.
and you're on it for a month.
Mm-hmm. So you could be called any day? Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, but they inform you, and all you do is check in. Well, it's a weekly thing. You check in every week over the course of a month,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you we need you or we don't need
Right.
you. So I never ended up with a trial,
Okay.
but I've been on jury duty how many times?
Oh, really?
But 70 is the cutoff age, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, so you got a birthday, right?
Yeah, I've already made it.
Oh, Harry, no more times.
'Cause I kept I kept the last one. I have a file with jury duty because I had it so
Oh.
many times. Because I did 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Every 3 years.
Yeah. So if it was less than 3 years, I could pull
Oh,
out
and
my
say, hey, I
form
already
and
did
say,
that.
hey, look I was there just
Yep.
2.5 years ago.
Mhm.
So,
Well, that's good.
I had jury duty in Worcester and jury duty up in Fitchburg. I guess
Mhm.
Fitchburg's a little harder to find people. They're
Yeah.
drawing them out of southern Worcester.
They do. They have to draw from a larger, because they
just can't find the
They
people.
can't find the people.
'Cause-
So I've heard a few people from down our way have to go up there.
My wife Linda got it.
Oh, she did. Yeah.
But here again, in fact, I had to drive her up there because she didn't know Fitchburg or anything. And I dropped her off, and I used to work up in that area, so I could go visit people I knew.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, she ended up without trial too.
Did she have to go many days or just the one day?
Just one day.
Okay, that's good.
If you got one day, if you ended up without a trial, they release you,
Yep.
and then you don't have to come back for 3 years.
Right. That's what's happened to me every time. I've never actually had to go through the process.
Now, when you worked in the courthouse, I was surprised that you didn't get called.
They called me when I first started, and they haven't called me since, so.
Yeah, because I thought you were exempt because they wouldn't want someone who's.
Right, I can't imagine at this point they'd want me. I don't, yeah.
Right,
I
because
can't
you
now.
know the judges.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
so they don't, you know the prosecutors.
I know everybody, yeah.
Yeah,
On
you
both
know,
sides of it, yeah.
So they're gonna consider you could be biased.
Yeah. So they wouldn't ask me.
You know, I mean, the last time I did got a trial was at the old courthouse.
Oh, wow.
That's how long ago.
That's been a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Because 2007 is when we moved in, so.
In fact, the judge that presided is deceased now,
Oh.
Judge Toomey.
Oh. Is-
Nice guy.
Okay, was he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
I
nice
didn't
guy.
know him.
There was a lawsuit. Lawsuit against the city of Worcester,
Oh.
and we found for the city.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
I don't want to get into
No
the
one has
details
any
of it on
angers at
TV,
Harry.
but I think, and Judge Toomey told us we did the right thing.
Oh,
after,
good.
So,
All right, that's good.
but
So.
it was an experience.
Uh-huh.
But what I didn't like was I lose a day's work.
I know, exactly. That's why it's important to let people know if we don't need
Yeah.
you, I don't want you to drive all the way down, get a parking space, pay for parking,
Yeah.
not be able to even have your phone in the courtroom. Well, I guess the jurors get to bring their phones in, because to sit there all day without your phone, you'd be very frustrated. I think.
Well, here again, though, but you gotta have it on silent or something.
Yeah.
And they don't want you there texting
No,
during
they
the
can't.
trial.
But when you're in the jury room waiting, they'll let you have it, so.
Oh, okay, that
that's good.
makes sense.
There's nobody else no regular people can have their phone in the courthouse,
Oh.
which is kind of frustrating to people.
Well, the last time, they must have changed it, because the last time I went in the courthouse, they were confiscating phones.
Yeah, you can't bring them in now. The employees can, jurors can, attorneys can, that's about it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I went to New Courthouse, but we didn't go there as a juror.
Mhm.
My wife Linda had an accident on an ice storm, and we were appealing the accident because you got, with the penalty,
Oh.
with your insurance
Yep.
penalty.
Oh, okay.
And, because we appealed it for the simple reason, the state hadn't come out and sanded the roads. It was on a Sunday, and they hadn't come out and salted and sanded.
Oh.
She had to go to work. And she was part of a whole group of people that got in an accident that day.
Oh.
In fact, the guy, the person that oversees it at the courthouse,
Mhm.
we gave him the date, and he said, oh,
Oh, he knew right
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Other people had complained
Yeah.
so it was waived.
it was waived.
Oh, good.
Everybody that got in an accident that day
That
got
day,
waived,
okay.
and, because they knew what it was, and Deval Patrick was the governor at the time, and they held his Mass Highway director, didn't send anyone because we're trying to save some money.
Yeah, and
Think
it
it's
ended
a
up costing
Sunday
other people
morning.
money.
Yeah, Sunday morning.
Oh.
I mean, even the police officer that tried to come to her car fell on the ice.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he slipped right in the middle of the road.
Jeepers, lucky he
There
didn't
was
hurt
clear
himself.
ice everywhere.
Wow, that's New England.
Yeah, but see, this is why you need these systems to be able, to be able to make your appeals.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And you need a good, efficient system.
Right, so that's what I'm gonna do when I'm clerk of courts.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's worse than having to go to court and then you get there and find out, well, the trial's been postponed.
I know.
Or,
That's something I would really try to focus on, is having the date, when a date is, a motion is made and a date is set, I wanna have that date happen. Continuing, I don't think is beneficial to anybody. And if we say in 2 weeks or a month, this is the date, I think everyone should be prepared and get ready for that date and not have some excuse not to have it go forward. The tracking on these cases is supposed to be done within 18 months. And I know there are cases going 3, 4, 5 years.
18 months is a year and a half.
Right, that's a long time to
Yeah,
have
and-
something
and
happen,
If
so,
you're talking a criminal trial,
right,
witnesses, your memory becomes more foggy.
yep,
It's harder to get the exact situations,
Mhm.
the Constitution say a speedy trial?
right. And 18 months isn't,
No, I don't
Yeah.
consider that speedy.
no, it's not speedy.
But do you find that, I don't know, in your opinion, that some of the defense attorneys Shutting this down. I knew every time I hold this phone on, and I don't even know who this is, somebody from Brockton.
Oh, wow.
Like I know anybody in Brockton.
Everyone you know knows you have the show now, right?
Well, my number got out there, and yeah, heck with them. If I left it on a table, I did it one night, and we had Cub Scouts here,
Uh-huh.
and one of the den mothers took my phone home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How'd she do that?
She said, I thought it was my husband.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I like to leave it out anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, you find that the trial lawyers tend to use it as a way of getting their client off the hook.
One could argue that, or even to, like a civil suit, let it go drag on
In
and
civil
on.
suit, they let it drag on.
Increase their fees. I don't know if that would be the reason, but I would emphasize, and I would try to do my best to shorten those tracking times, and get things moving along and in and out quicker. Plus the judges change every 3 months, so you want to try to have at least some consistency.
You're going to have a different judge come in, doesn't know anything what's going on with the
Right.
last one. He has to go over the transcript, but that's not the best way.
No, I think it's better to try to get it in and get it out and get it done correctly and efficiently, but get it moving along for sure.
Yeah. Now, who has well, the continuance is asked of the judge, so the judge makes the final decision, right?
Yeah, but the clerks have some leeway, so they could change the date before it gets to the judge. The judge wouldn't even be aware that dates had been changed.
Oh.
So it would be the clerks that I would have to.
So if you go in for a trial, say a civil suit,
Mm-hmm.
and they get a continuance on October 10th,
Mm-hmm.
and continue to January 10th, you could shorten that?
If that's the date, all right, it should have been happening on October 10th?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely shorten that, but I want a good reason why it's not happening on October 10th.
Okay.
I want it done on October 10th, when the first date
So
that
you
we
can
discussed.
overrule on the
And
judge allowing the
we
continuance?
can, yeah, I would discuss that with the staff and say, listen, we want these cases done when the date is set.
So that would happen
would
while you were
Yeah,
in there?
and I would have a policy of only extenuating circumstances would I change that date.
See, that's what I was trying to get at, because I don't know how the system works, 'cause I don't get involved with it.
Right now, the clerk of courts, the head person's not getting involved in that process. I would get involved and say, hey, why, I want a valid reason why that's changing. I would be hesitant to change the dates.
So you could actually, the judge would have to let you know, and then you could come back onto the trial before they dismiss.
Before it moves forward, yeah.
And say, look at, no, there's no reason for that
Right.
continuance. I think you should move forward.
I think, yeah.
And that'd be, a lot of people get discouraged. I talk to people who've gone through that,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets continued and continued and continued, and it's very discouraging, especially if you're gonna be a witness.
Mm-hmm.
Now you gotta keep returning.
Right, and everyone's life is in limbo in that
Yeah.
process. They want, you want justice, or you want it settled, and so that you can move on.
Right.
Whatever happens, and why would you want somebody hanging on for 3 or 4 years on a pending case
Exactly.
like that? That's not justice. That's not swift justice.
And it's also very costly,
Right, because you're
because
hanging.
these lawyers are getting paid.
Right, and if people do come in and then it's continued, again.
Yeah.
And if I was a victim, I do not want to put a family through that. I'm not. I
Right.
would be conscientious of that family.
And in case of a criminal trial,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're putting the family really through hell. They're looking to get satisfaction to some extent. You know, you can't replace what took place.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a murder or it's a rape or something like that, you can't make it whole again.
No.
But at least give them some kind of consolation as this person's going to be punished.
Right, and treat them with, care.
Yes.
You don't want to have them going through whatever horrible thing they've gone through over and over and over again.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because some defense lawyers can make it pretty tough on the victim
Mm-hmm.
to try to get their person off.
Mm-hmm. I know, that's sad, huh?
Yes, it is. And then again, with drunk driving is a criminal case today.
Yep.
You want them people back on the street.
No.
You know, I mean, if they're a habitual offender.
Right. And usually if they have a major accident, they've had incidences beforehand. It's not their
Right.
first time they had a drink and they got into an accident.
Very rarely is a drunk driver caught the
First time, right.
first, second, or maybe the 10th time. It's going to be going over and over again for the odds. The police aren't everywhere,
No.
so they don't catch it all the time.
Right. And now with marijuana being legal, that, you know,
That's
that.
another thing. Now, this could open up a lot of stuff going on here, because we just did the marijuana bylaw on a planning board.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh God, it must be 3 or 4 pages long. It's extensive, because this is what the state requires.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're gonna have to deal with this and making sure people are doing it correctly,
Oh, right.
and the sales and the
I
transportation.
know, and it's so brand new, the law in general,
Yeah.
that people aren't gonna know how to follow it.
And the police are really at a quandary. Now, now before, prior to, a couple of years ago, if they stopped you and they smelled marijuana,
That
they
was
start
enough.
looking through the ashtray and they find we call it, the little
The
bit left.
roach, yeah.
Roach.
Yeah, roach.
To show you, yeah, I'm 70 years old, come on. Well, anyway, they could take you in.
Mhm.
Now, I'm told by the police, they stop the car and they can smell it, they really can't do anything.
No,
And it's hard to tell if someone is actually high.
I know. And the smell stays there even if it's been a couple hours or
Yeah.
a day or
Yeah.
whatever. And it stays in your system, so there's no breathalyzer for marijuana right now.
Yeah, there's no
Can't tell.
on the site test that you
Yeah.
could do.
It makes it's a whole new ballgame. I know door knocking, I can smell it on people's homes. Like even if they don't open the door, you can tell.
Oh,
And
I never thought of it.
There's a
God.
lot of homes I've noticed over
Wow.
over these past 6 or 8 months that smell like
See, here
marijuana.
again now, you can grow what, 6 plants?
6 plants.
Yeah, per person.
So if you get a big house.
Yeah, well, if you have a husband and wife, that's 12
Yeah.
plants. And if you got any kids, over 21, I think it is? Well,
Even look at these rules. Like, okay, you got 12, so if there's 13, can you bring them in? Or
Yeah.
It can only be certain heights or
I
certain.
know, I mean,
I
this
don't
is-
even.
It's unbelievable.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be a police officer nowadays. That's so confusing.
I know.
This is so hard.
And,
to
and
follow.
now, like, we're on a plan. We've got a proposed, company from Boston is proposing to put a marijuana growing facility
In Northbridge?
in Northbridge.
Oh.
Myself, I'm libertarian on it. If you want to do that, fine. I don't want you driving. But, I mean, they want to go, hey, it's tax revenue.
Mhm.
That's the way I look at it. It's, anytime we can get business into town.
Right. Again, they have to follow a lot of requirements though, right? Or-
And the thing with marijuana too is, you don't have to buy it from a growing facility. You don't have to buy it from a marijuana retail store. You grow your own.
This is so interesting. It's gonna be so. Is the first one open yet? The dispensary?
No, I guess it's about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, there are dispensaries
Okay.
for medical,
But not for recreation.
not for recreation. But I guess only two. Worcester's gonna, here's another thing, I don't know if you heard, it looks like Worcester's going to get the office for the board that oversees it.
Oh, the statewide board
Yeah,
in Worcester? Wow.
at Union Station.
What's it called? What's it called? Marijuana?
No, Cannabis Control.
Cannabis, yeah.
Cannabis Control Commission,
Oh.
CCC.
Oh.
Yeah, the CCC.
Oh, instead of like alcoholic beverage and control.
Right,
okay,
yeah, Cannabis Control Commission,
Okay.
which is CCC, back in the Depression, the CCC was the organization that Roosevelt put together for all the kids who were out of work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the conservation camps.
Oh.
So now the
You're really dating yourself now.
now the CCC is the Cannabis Control
Oh,
Commission.
wow. Jeepers. Cannabis Control Commission.
And that's a pretty good paying job too.
Oh, really?
And oh yeah,
Oh.
that's like the gambling commission.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That pays pretty
So
good.
is that appointed by the governor?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had
That's
talked
interesting.
to Karen about that.
Oh, you did?
I mean, pretty good part-time
Yeah,
job.
really. Don't have to travel far now. You can
No,
go
right in
to
Worcester. But
We're getting the pod talking with Red Sox, and we're getting the cannabis control.
Yeah.
We're moving up.
Well, that's another thing I was thinking about. It's going to be Polar Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Polar soda, so it calls
Yeah.
the Polar Bear.
We love the Polar company. Yeah.
Yeah, and a polar. So that's what they have. The mascot is a polar bear down in Pawtucket.
Oh, it is. Oh, so
Yeah.
it doesn't change.
But because of the paw
Right. Oh,
See?
okay. Yeah.
socks, and it's a polar bear.
Oh, so they're
Polar
keeping
bears have paws.
So they're going to keep that consistent, or keep it.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. They're going to take that mascot? Pawtucket may not like that.
I don't know. They won't have well, they don't have a team to worry about right now. So.
No. There's another thing too that Worcester did. I guess the Bravehearts not too happy about this.
No, I know. I knew Peterman, the general manager. He was nervous about them coming in the beginning, in fit and field, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's that do to him?
I know, because we can't have two
baseball. You've got a choice between who are you going to go to see?
It's because it's a lower division or a
right.
Lower, so that or a lower league, yeah.
I'll tell you though, sometimes the lower division you get better ball.
Yeah, those games are good and fun. So I don't know what they're gonna do. That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
We still have the railers. I guess we can. Maybe they make it another type of sport. I don't know.
Well, we also have the arena football.
Oh, we do? I didn't even know.
Yeah,
Where's that?
the Worcester Pirates.
Okay, where do they play?
In the DCU.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's arena football. They play indoors.
Oh.
It's a whole different set of rules.
Uh-huh.
And we had one before, and it left, and now we got a new one.
So starting now?
Yeah, they played last season.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I think their seasons is more in the summertime.
Okay, not during regular football season?
No, not during the NFL season.
Okay.
So they play at different times, so that football fans get to see more football.
We do have a situation this Sunday is the Red Sox are playing and Patriots at the same time.
I know,
I'm
huh?
like, come on, guys, change the time or something.
I know. This is going to happen, and hopefully we get into the World Series and there's going to be more conflict.
We have partial season tickets for Red Sox, and we'll have the 7th game of this playoffs, and then we have the 2nd game of the World Series if they make it to the World Series.
Oh.
But I just scheduled an event for my fundraiser on the same night. Sorry, honey. But I did tell my husband he can go with one of my sons if they make it to the World Series. It's the 2nd game. But I had so many dates. I have so much activity in the month of October.
Yeah.
I had to pick a date, and that was one day that nobody else had anything scheduled, so I had to do it. And I kind of feel bad, but
what kills me,
I got to get out there.
I'm old enough to remember when, by the first week of October, the World Series was over.
It was over, I know. Even I'm old enough for that one.
Yeah, and now, I mean, we're going almost to the end of the month.
It goes into November, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, there's so many games.
Yeah, but you could have the World Series with a blizzard.
Yeah, I know.
In this part of the country.
And the same thing happens with the basketball and the hockey. They're into Celtics and Bruins are into June if they make it to the playoffs.
Oh,
and that used to end sooner too.
I remember way back when they were playing at the old Boston Garden,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was L.A., playing the Celtics for the championship, and they had a thermometer on the screen.
And it was hot?
It was like 90 degrees, 100 degrees in the garden. The garden wasn't air conditioned, the old garden.
So to even keep it ice was hard, right? Like I know it used to melt. Yeah, it used to get warm in there.
Yeah. So, I mean, fortunately now the new TD garden, much better, but I mean, but they stretch these games too long.
Yeah, the whole series is long.
Yeah.
I mean, even like little kids, you can't play. They make you play like 3 seasons now for each sport. Like soccer is soccer in the fall, soccer indoors in the winter, and then spring soccer.
Yeah.
Baseball's the same way. They have fall ball. It starts in the spring. You go through the summer. If you ever make it to the Williamsport and Little League series, that's into the middle of August. And then you got
when did the kids, kids that want to play multiple sports, when did they get a chance?
You don't get to anymore. You kind of by 10 you're choosing which sport you want to do.
Yeah, you got to. Which one am I going to stay with?
Yeah, I know. Because my kids are 5. I had 5 kids, and my youngest is 20. So that was just starting to happen when my kids were growing up, and
Yeah, I mean,
basically you choose.
It makes it pretty tough for the kids to come up with, because if you like football and baseball, geez, they're conflicting.
I know. And really, kids should be able to play multiple.
Yeah.
They should be able to play.
Yeah.
Do something, just for fun.
But today, our kids all have to organize splits. I never had that.
You had your bike and you were gone all day, right?
Yeah.
Mom and Dad didn't even know where you were.
Ball.
Yeah.
A bunch of kids got together and you played ball.
Yeah, until it got dark, the street lights came on.
Yeah. And you got how to keep score.
Yeah.
But well, back to your job anyway. Yeah. It's pretty tough to campaign now and this election is kind of late because we're going probably as late as it can be.
Yeah, because usually it'd be the first Tuesday, right? So
Yes.
it could have been November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, like
Yeah,
that usually,
I mean,
but
it's
now
probably the
it's
latest
6th.
it can be in November
Yeah.
right now.
But they do have, a couple things people should know is they have absentees right now, so if you're gonna be out of town on the 6th, you could get an absentee ballot. People have already come up to me saying they've already voted. And then
Yeah, there's early voting.
voting starts October 22nd to November 2nd.
Yes,
So in most of the towns, it's at their town hall.
at the town clerk's office.
Yeah, town clerk's office. Worcester has it set up, they have it at a different location, at one location in the city every day of those 10 days, and it moves
Oh,
around.
they move it around. I can understand that,
So-
instead of making everybody run down to City Hall.
Yeah, so anybody in Worcester, they could just go to the Secretary of State's office. I mean, or go online to find out where it is that day.
But if you want well, you can get an absentee ballot, but you have to have a reason for it.
Yeah, they're
It-
pretty lenient on
They're
that
pretty
nowadays.
lenient, but don't go in and say, well, I just don't wanna go out that day, because that's
Yeah.
not the reason. You gotta say, I'm on vacation. They're not gonna question you. They're not gonna say,
Yeah.
bring us a copy of bring us in your plane ticket so we can see. But no, they're not gonna ask you for that. Just tell them, you give them a valid reason,
Yeah.
and you'll get an absentee
Like,
ballot.
2 of my kids are in college, so they
Yep.
they were around for the primary, or they were just leaving. So
Yep.
they filled it out at home. You know, they filled it out before the election, but at the town hall. And then the town hall just mailed
They
it, the
mail it-
clerk mailed it to them at school.
Yes.
And so they've
yes.
gotten it already.
Yeah, which is important that people know that you can actually get the ballot sent to you
Yep.
wherever you are. If you're away at school, if you're in the military.
Yeah, and you can ask for it to be mailed to you for every election
Yes.
on that one time. So you just check
Yes.
that off.
Until you finally come back, and then you just change it.
Yeah, and if you do have kids that are in college, please do get their absentee ballot sent to them so they can vote.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. You know, my first time voting, you had to be 21.
Oh, I was 18, so
Yeah,
they changed
it
the rule
changed a
between
few
you and
years
me.
after and I was overseas when I turned 21,
Oh,
so I couldn't go down and register. But the minute I got home,
yeah.
one of the first things I did, the day I arrived home, I went to the town hall and registered to vote.
My 5 kids, the day they turned 5, they went to the Charlton Library and got a library card. That was a very
Yep.
big deal. And then the day they were 18, they went and registered to
Yeah.
vote. So all of them.
It-
The
I-
day
I-
they were 16, they went and got their permit test
Yeah.
for the license.
I tell kids, this is just as important as getting your getting your learner's permit,
Mhm,
getting
yeah.
your license. I mean, these are all important dates.
Yeah,
If you're a male, you got to register to draft
right.
at 18.
Yeah.
Go down to town hall, register to vote,
Mm-hmm.
become a voter, because the most important thing you're going to do as a citizen. I mean, come on. I hate people who complain about government
And then don't vote.
and never vote.
I know. Yeah.
You
And
gotta
as
vote
we've
complain.
seen, every vote counts.
Yes.
We've seen enough changes
Oh.
or things happen because the vote was so close.
Right.
So
And-
that's good.
I'll tell you, well, look, 3 years, well, it'll be 3 years in May. I'm back on the planning board. I was on the planning board for 15 years. I ended up back on it because 53 people went down and wrote my name in. And I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it.
That's
I got a call from the town clerk. She says, you're on the planning board. I said, I am? She says, yeah, 53 people wrote your name in.
Wow.
Well, I'm back there now. You
Whether you
influ-
want to or not.
You affected me, you 53 people.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Did they is this a friend of yours that coordinated that? Or who-
Probably
Yeah.
is. I never found out who did it, but.
That's like when you volunteer the person not at the meeting to, to do the next event or something.
Right. But these things happen. I mean, but I've seen election turn on just one vote.
Yep, definitely. Peter Durant and our state rep.
Yes, remember that?
Yeah,
Oh
like-
my God, that went back and
That
forth.
went on and on,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Because
it-
a special election, and then they had one vote was invalid, and then they
Yeah.
had to go in front of a judge. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
good.
I mean, presidential election
right. We've seen.
back in 2001.
Yeah, the Chads, the hanging Chads.
Yeah, I mean, and, they say it's the Supreme Court, well, the Supreme Court finally ended it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was going on and on.
It was. How many? It was into December almost, right?
Yeah.
I know it was like the middle of December before
Yeah.
it was decided.
And and when you're talking to the president, he's got to he's got to put his
I know transition team and get
yeah,
people.
everything put together. He's got to start appointing people.
Yeah.
God, I mean, so you really got to get down there and vote,
Yeah.
and it's so easy now.
Yeah, it is easy. Right, as we just discussed, you can do absentee, you can do early voting,
Yep.
you can vote on November 6th. There's no excuse not to vote.
And we've got Massachusetts, I gotta hand it to Secretary Gavin. We got great voting machines here. We do it the right way. I don't like, we don't have the chads,
No more ads.
no, and it's all scanner.
Yep.
So all you gotta do is take the pen and fill in the dot, put it in the machine,
Right.
and you're all done.
It's easy, and they generally know the results within 20 minutes. That
Yeah,
you
because the
know.
machine does all the counting.
Right. As long as everything gels, it's
Yeah.
usually pretty quickly, and they spit out the results.
Now, I hope we go in Massachusetts to voter ID. I think, you know, they say, oh, you discourage. Why does it discourage you?
I don't know. You need a ID for everything.
Yeah, you want to go and buy something. You can't buy a pack of cigarettes without an ID today.
I know.
I mean, you can't buy a lottery ticket sometimes.
Right.
The stores are doing it right.
I made a deposit in a different branch than I usually go. I couldn't even make a deposit without showing my ID.
Yeah.
That I had to prove that I was
And
I'm the one putting the money in the
And
bank.
you're putting the money in.
Yeah,
I mean,
wasn't
I
that I
can
was
see
taking it
taking it
out,
out,
yeah.
but you're putting it in.
Right.
Yeah.
You need an ID for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So,
So, I mean, what is the big deal? And ID doesn't cost anything.
no.
If you don't have a license, you can get a picture ID at any registry. There's no charge.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't understand. We all have to have social security numbers.
Right. I know. From the time we're born now.
Yeah.
Remember when we were kids, it wasn't until you were 18 that you had
Right,
to
well,
have
until
one.
you're going to get a job.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, that's because people are putting down, taking deductions for kids they didn't have.
Yeah.
Now you gotta justify with the IRS that kid actually exists, because if you don't have a social security number, you don't exist.
Right. And you need it for you need it for everything.
Yeah,
So I don't know why it's a challenge, but
yeah, I mean, it used to be a social security number was your Medicare number.
oh, I didn't know that.
They changed it,
Oh.
so now we all got new Medicare
Yeah,
cards.
because our license is not our social security number either.
No, it used to be.
Yeah.
They
I
changed
remember
that
yeah.
because if people got a hold of that,
Yeah, they can.
God, they
and
could take
especially with fraud nowadays, it's so
oh my
identity
God, they could
fraud.
take over. It's the one thing you want to protect is your social security number.
Right. That's why we only give the 4 digits whenever you call
Yes.
somebody. And never give anyone your whole social number that called you.
Never.
Only when you call them and let them know. And you know the reason for it.
That's something that the courts are going to be seeing. There's a lot of fraud
Yeah,
going on, isn't
and-
it? Especially with the internet,
Yeah. That's
but
the
with the
number one
phone.
thing nowadays. And I know the Registry of Deeds has a lot of that because people can apply for a mortgage if you have, or, you know.
Yes, and
some
they
of that,
they
yeah.
use. All you got to do is get your information. They can apply for using and mortgage your house,
I know.
and you don't even know it.
Right, you don't know. That's why those identity, security firms are so strong right now.
Yes.
because- And I really feel they prey on the older people. They,
Yes.
they do.
We had an incident right in town where a woman actually sent a good amount of money to the police was telling me, to someone who called and said that she owed it to the IRS.
Yeah.
The IRS does not phone you.
I
They do
know.
not call.
When I was with the DA, we did a lot of senior seminars on fraud and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's. But yeah, the IRS does not call you.
Someone was
And it
telling
doesn't
me
send you
today
an email
that
either. It sends you a letter.
their neighbor got a call. No, they did. They got a call from someone who said they were the IRS, and that if they didn't pay up, they were going to send the cops to their house. That's the way they worded it. And she says, number one, I know the IRS doesn't call, but you think if they did, they would say, I'm going to send the cops?
Right. Yeah, they wouldn't say cops.
No.
They wouldn't say cops. That's a good. That was a good thing. The person on the other end was paying attention.
I know.
That's a good one.
I can't believe they get that stupid, the fraud purveyors here.
Mhm.
But I mean, I get emails all the time. I got one
Oh, I
today.
know, I know.
Yeah, I got one today saying I had a package that couldn't be delivered.
Until you send $250.
No, until I had to go to his site and then had to give him some information. I said, forget that.
Whatever it is, I don't want
For
it.
one thing, I don't know of any packages. I haven't got
Right.
any.
You didn't order anything.
I had one thing and it came in yesterday.
Okay.
So it wasn't, I knew that wasn't it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's just, if it is, I don't care because I got the package.
Yeah. That's a good one.
But, yeah, you gotta be so careful today
Mhm.
that, I mean, it gets your email and, oh my God.
Mhm.
And my stuff is pretty much public. It's on my business cards because I use it.
Oh, yep.
I communicate with my customers through my email.
Right.
And
I've been doing everything, ordering everything online. for the campaign,
Yeah,
because it's less expensive and it's usually really efficient and gets right to you.
comes right to your house.
Yeah, I know, it's
You don't have to go
nice.
down and pick it up.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I have right now is, my sign is on buses in Worcester.
Yes.
I want everyone to be looking for my signs. Let me know. Text me if you see it, and because it goes into 10 towns around, the WRTA buses. So it's kind of cool. It's a moving billboard.
You know, I noticed one thing that the three ladies that are running as Republicans in Worcester County, you put your pictures on your sign.
Oh, it's a good way to remember us.
Yeah, Jen,
Jen does. Yep.
Kate,
Kate.
and yourself.
Yeah. Jen
Yeah.
was the first one, so we got to give her the credit.
Yeah, she's been doing it. She's been, what, is this her third term?
Yeah, she started in 2010, and she has to go every 2 years.
Wow.
So 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, her fourth campaign.
It's like running a state rep.
Yeah, that's a tough
Only
one.
thing is, he's got that.
Only it's 65 towns. It's not
65
just a
cities
few.
and that's,
Yeah.
that should be 4 years,
Yeah, definitely.
because it just for the coverage alone.
I don't really understand all the, like, why is mine 6 years? Why is hers 2 years? The DA's 4 years. State
Oh,
reps
wow.
are 2 years.
So you can't say it's just county then.
No, it's just, yeah, I don't, it's a state. It's by the state.
Yeah, but do you wonder how they set it up that way?
I don't know. And then there's, like, I'm Superior Court and Clerk of Courts is elected, Register of Probate is elected,
Yep.
the DA is elected, Register of Deeds is elected, but then Housing Court is appointed, Juvenile Court is appointed, District Court is appointed. Don't understand why all
Yeah,
that.
so is, what is it, industrial, the court for the, for accidents.
Registry, like the register?
I'm trying to think of what they call it now. The insurance you have for you get hurt at work.
Uh-huh. Oh, like, workman's comp? stuff?
Workman's comp, yeah.
Workman's comp stuff. Yeah, that's a,
there's a court just for that. And that's
it's
appointed.
Yeah, appointed.
Yeah.
So,
And that's a pretty busy one.
yeah. I know a lot of it is back from English parliamentary times. 'Cause
Right.
it's been over, 150 years or 200 years that the systems have been here, but.
Well,
It is
some of the ones that are
interesting.
appointed probably were, I think those came about later on,
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't have a workers' comp court
Mm-hmm. Right, you
in
didn't
the
have
colonial
that, yeah.
times, you didn't have some of the other courts.
Yeah, I know Register of Probate is like one of the oldest elected positions in
Yeah.
in the history of the country, so.
But see, here again, now you go back, even when we were still part of England, a colony to England, you had probate.
Right,
And you had,
Yeah.
and then it became even more so because there was more landowners.
right.
In England, you didn't have that many landowners because it was, royals
Right.
owned most of the
Only-
land.
right.
But here, it was
Because
just,
we were free and didn't
Yeah.
have the class system that they
right,
had over
yeah,
there.
so you really had to have a probate for when people died.
Mhm.
And, that's another thing that people need to realize, that if you don't have a will, if you don't have some way of showing where your property goes, the court
You
decides.
end up in court, yeah.
Yeah. And-
Your ears do, not you, I guess, but,
Yeah, your ears end up in court,
Right.
and the judge decides where it goes.
right, so that's why everyone should have a will if you wanna determine where your assets go to.
Yeah, I know, under English law, way back, it was, part of the law was that the eldest son inherited,
Everything,
yeah. And that went
Yeah.
way back. But of course, the eldest son inherited the throne, the eldest son inherited the title.
mm-hmm. Wasn't the firstborn would get everything, the secondborn went to the military, and the thirdborn went to the religious.
Yes. Only the sons.
Only the sons, yeah, the women, the girls went with their husbands.
They had to get married, they had to find
They'd
someone.
have a dowry and
Yeah,
they get to
you
have
had
to
a dowry
go.
and you had to hook them up with
Yeah.
someone who had a title.
I'm glad things have changed.
Yeah, I know.
No girl got to run for office back then.
No, well, you think about it, it hasn't been 100 years.
No, since
that-
we've had the vote.
Yeah, that you could run for office.
No, right.
And until the Constitution was amended,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't even run for office.
Right. That's why it'll be historical.
Yeah,
There's a lot of women across the Commonwealth and across the country that are running for positions that have only been held by men.
Yes.
Mine is one of them. It's never had a man. I mean,
Yeah.
never had a female run for it.
no, and this is
So,
good, I think.
I'm the first.
Women have just as much to offer. In some cases, I think more.
Yeah. I mean, being a mother of 5, I think, is very helpful
Yeah.
today.
Right.
Nowadays, moms, we're very organized and we can get the job done, so.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, you're taking half the population and not letting you participate.
Right. So now it's time.
Yeah.
It's definitely time.
Women couldn't even serve on juries.
that's okay.
Back before the vote, well.
It's good to serve on a jury. It's good. You need women obviously have a different perspective
Yeah.
on things that happen.
But
so.
you couldn't serve on juries, you couldn't be judges, you couldn't do anything.
Right. So we've definitely, probate court has, right now, of our 6 judges, 4 are women.
Yep.
So that's, a change.
There was a point in time when a woman wasn't allowed to be a doctor.
Oh,
And
they could only be nurses, or?
Yeah, that's as far as they could go in medical.
Yeah, and nowadays, I think
They
there's more
weren't allowed to be
females
lawyers.
in medical school now.
Yeah,
I think a lot of the colleges have more females than males.
yes.
So it's good. Our time
So,
is changing.
yeah, times have changed.
Yeah, that's why it's the woman's time to win at Clerk of Courts.
More women are going to college than men.
Yeah.
A lot of men are going right into
To
work.
Yeah.
And, there's something to be said about that too, because, there are, sometimes you don't really need a college, you can get a damn good job.
Right.
And if you go out and spend, $50,000 or more for a 4-year education, probably more than that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other person gets a job that pays well, they've got that advance. They have 4 years of not paying that money and don't have to pay that back, and they've already made money for 4
Exactly.
years.
And some of our highest salaries are electricians and
Yes.
carpenters and
Yep.
plumbers, and we need those positions.
And women are going into that.
Yeah, well, we're smart.
I was at the Valley Tech a couple of years ago, and I was amazed at how many girls were going to auto mechanic as well as construction.
It's tough to get into the vocational schools. When we were kids, the ones that couldn't make it in regular school went to vocational.
Yes.
Not nowadays. You have to apply. You have to have a good GPA.
Yeah, because they're filled up.
Right. And
you
if you
can't-
mess up, they're kicking you out.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think times have changed for sure.
It's amazing how times have changed, and people are more accepting.
Yep.
So,
So that's good. Yeah, every office I've been in has been mixed, men and women, and
Yep.
people get along, and people know how to be appropriate and work hard with each other.
Well, you're running for office now. It wasn't that many years ago that you would have found a lot of people saying, "You're a woman and you're running for that office? Why?"
I know. And if my children were younger, like I know women have had trouble, like you should be staying home with them and taking
Yeah.
care of them. My children are grown up, so that's not an issue, but I don't think that would be an issue nowadays. Like I think people understand women can do both.
Exactly. My wife always worked. We worked around it. She worked in nursing, so when the kids were young, she worked nights. I was home with the kids at night.
Right.
During the day, she was there, I was out working.
Which is good for dads.
Yeah.
You get to be a dad. And
Yeah.
dads, in our office, a lot of dads are taking the paternity leave now, because you can take, both parents can
Yep.
have the,
Which is good, yeah.
so they can have a turn and taking care of the kids. I think that's the way it should be.
I was a little concerned, that we're getting close again.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned about that one bill they had that was gonna give you, 6 months?
Yeah,
That's a pretty much
That's
a
a long
strain,
time.
that's a strain on a business.
yeah.
I mean, how do you replace someone, if they're out for 6 months, that's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
You-
Yeah, it is
and
tricky.
you can't, by the time you train someone,
Then they'll be moving on.
Yeah.
Or the other person will be coming back.
yeah, so
I know.
I think that was a little bit too much.
Yeah,
But you do need maternity leave.
yep, I agree.
Get to know the little one.
And it goes fast. Little kids are only little for a short time.
I was thinking about that the other day, how they're so tiny when they're born, and then in no time
I know.
God, where'd the time go?
Right.
And going, well, your kids are growing up now.
Mine are grown, and I'm waiting for that grandchild. That's
Yeah.
that's what I
Same
want
with
to have.
mine. I mean,
You have no grandkids yet?
I have one, yeah,
Oh, one,
and
okay.
16 years old this month. I said,
Oh, wow.
How did it went so fast?
Wow.
Now she's dating.
Ooh, now you have to go through it again.
I promised not to get worried. I said, I'm not going to live through it again. I had 2 boys, so it wasn't as hard.
Oh, I have 4 boys and 1 girl, so
You worry more with the girls.
yeah, you do worry, but she'll be
Yeah.
fine. She'll be
Yeah.
tough. With 4 brothers, she's got to be tough, right?
Yeah. yeah. Is she the young?
She's the 4th one. She's actually in South Carolina right now. She's a senior at South Carolina and Columbia, and now they got the hurricane. She's already been evacuated once for Florence,
Now,
and
now it's not going to be a hurricane, but it's going to be a
it's
water.
going to be a lot of rain. And
We
stuff,
had
yeah.
one here today.
Yeah,
You
you're
saw
right.
That rain that came through?
Yeah, it's
Oh
tough.
my God. Well, hey,
So-
we're going to wrap it up. So,
Okay.
Joanne, I want to give you a chance to tell the people out there why to vote for you.
All right, so I'm Joanne Powell, running for Clerk of Courts for Worcester County. I really appreciate your vote. I've been working hard for the last 8 months. I promise you, when I get there, that I will come to work every day. I will run the office as efficiently as possible. I will bring it up to date technologically. I will be transparent. I will give the staff the support they need, the professional training. And I really look forward to your vote. Again, absentee ballots already started. You can, early voting's October 22nd to November 2nd, and the big day is November 6th. I'm Joanne Powell, and I'm asking for your vote for Clerk of Courts. Thank you.
Okay, don't forget, November 6th, Tuesday. Got all day to vote. If you can't vote on that day, go down there. Early voting starts October 22nd?
Yeah, so just, October 22nd, so we're
Yeah,
just a
in
few
about
days,
2 weeks.
weeks away.
You're down at town clerk's office, you can get a ballot, and make it out right there, they put it in an envelope. They don't count it until election day. It gets sealed away until election day, but your vote is in. So there's no reason why you can't vote. And we'll be back in about 2 weeks. We're taking next week off from About the Valley, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. Our guest is going to be Michael Moore, our state senator for half of Northbridge. So we'll see you in 2 weeks on About the Valley.